You get that goes
How did that get on there? How did that get on there?
I think it was on the last one, wasn't it?
With names on it.
No, I don't know. No.
That's still very cool.
I think with the family matters, there was something to be considered last month and not the way
Well, this one is the Gabion.
Yeah.
Have
You know that when I put the I put the notices and all that when fish was on, I done it in Monday. And he sent me the month when my horse was straight up there. Oh, you asked me about this a little while ago, it was just over a week ago, 9 days, something like that. She said somebody has been noticed we need some pennies. She said there's a British court wants to put some stuff on there about where are their keys. And then went back to that. So I was handed it a week ago.
I saw that. You can drop them off to me.
Yeah. No, we dropped them off to the person in charge.
Yeah, we've already done that.
What's your connection?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
This is the new one.
Oh, you see, that's what they can say over there. That's called professionalism. Got a minute waste. He's got a cold. He's got a bad cold. Yeah, he's got a bad cold. I wasn't there this morning.
That means it next time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a knees up, I think. I think they're barn dancing. Shall I close the doors? So
What's for a day now, isn't it?
you've got a bit of a barn dance next door. Very serious.
What's the gavel? Gavel out. That's not me, not gavel.
Spiritual
You can't hold a pack out of me without a gavel. Or a proper officer.
What's he going to throw there? Well, you can use Stephen's stick as a gavel. Lynn. No, Lynn is the vice chair, so acting chair as vice chair. But reeling.
I think there's a play there in Hurst. Oh, is it?
Yeah, Arms with your arms down like this. The Irish.
Dickens, I know.
The Is it too heavy?
It's got nothing on it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this extraordinary meeting of Fairlight Interim Parish Council, but things have moved on rather quickly. As you know, I chaired the last meeting as one of the co-opted members of the then Fairlight Parish Council, because obviously the resignation of a number of councillors. I'm pleased to see both Councillor Tim Groner, District, and Councillor Andrew Meyer, District, are both here this evening. You'll both notice they're sitting in the audience because as of this Monday, because of the fact that there was no election, as soon as the close of nominations happened on Friday, the following Monday, 6 people became councillors because there was no election, because only 6 stood. So your 6 new councillors are Michael. Do you Michael?
Do you want to go round?
He's not here.
So there we go. So Michael Clark, Lee Miller, Jean Pichard, known as Dom. Yes, I've met him before. Remember that. Jeff Smith, who I don't know at all. Steve Stewart and Jeff obviously have both been parish councillors before, and Sarah Whiteman sitting to my right. So can I start by, although I am not a parish councillor anymore, in order for me to do the handover, can I just congratulate them on their election as parish councillors for Fairlight. Now the hard work starts. And the other thing I would say, perhaps not everybody would, but I'm so pleased to see that everybody who stood lives in Fairlight, because that's not always the case. You're entitled to apply to be a parish council within 3 miles of the boundary, or if you own property in a particular place. So it's really encouraging to see that you've got 6 new parish councillors that all live within the boundary of the village. That's really good news as well. So without further ado, I shall step aside. Thank you for obviously your support during my brief tenure, and thank my 2 district colleagues who also stood in for that very brief time period. We thought it would be a little bit longer, but thank you for obviously the kind comments that were extended after particularly the last meeting, and it's been certainly very harmonious time since talking to other parish councillors, particularly Lynn, who acted as my vice chairman during that time. I've said at the previous parish council meeting my thanks to the previous councillors that resigned, and indeed to the previous parish clerk. So thank you very much indeed for your forbearance, and I shall hand over to Lynn to conduct tonight's meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to thank Carl and the 2 district councillors for their help in helping us through that last difficult few weeks. I think they've been tremendously helpful to us all, and I'd like to thank them very much. So, thanks very much. That's fantastic. Carl has already introduced the new councillors, so I don't have to do that. And you've got the pretty pictures in front of you. So thank you very much. She's not here, unfortunately, but thank you very much to Maggie. Oh, she is
there.
hiding. So thank you very much to the wonderful Maggie, who's done all the sort of publicity and design and printing work for us. So we're really, really grateful, and it's beautiful. So you can actually see all the pretty pictures. Fortunately, Steve and I didn't get involved in that. Stephen and I didn't get involved in that, so that's jolly lucky. There is no chairman's report except to say, obviously, we have a new parish council. One of the things you might be expecting us to do today is to elect a chair and a vice chair, and then carry on with all the excitement of announcing and electing all the committee members and all the committee chairs, etc., etc. Because this has to be issued 5 days, an agenda has to be issued 5 days before the actual meeting, so that the day it's issued, and then I'll tell you all this bureaucracy, it's great. So the day it's issued is one, and then there has to be 3 clear days in between before the last day, which is the meeting. So hence it has to be 5 days. We have to issue the agenda to the public, so you can come and enjoy yourselves. And if we haven't got the information to put on the agenda, then we can't do it. Well, we didn't know when this was issued that there would only be the 6 people here standing. So we couldn't put that on the agenda. So as far as we were concerned, it was going to a full election at the beginning of next month. So I did have chatted to them all, and it has been decided that rather than call another meeting next week to elect the chair and the vice chair and all of that, which we thought would be pushing your guys' patience just a fraction too much, we've decided that seeing as the next full parish council meeting is Tuesday week, that we would defer it to next Tuesday week, and then it would be a full parish council meeting, and we'll do all the elections of all the committees and stuff. So that's something for you all to look forward to, and us, of course. So that's good. So that's my chairman's report.
Can I just suggest apologies for absence from the
Yes, sorry, Michael Clark, who I'm sure some of you do know, who's Sue Clark's husband. He didn't introduce himself to us as as Mrs. Sue Clark when we first met him. They actually had a previous engagement which they booked about 18 months ago or something to go and enjoy themselves. So he did apologise, and he told us that Sue would actually kill him if he said that he had to come to a parish council meeting and not fulfil the engagement they booked. So he sent his genuine apologies to you all, and I'm sure you'll look forward to meeting him and giving him a hard time next Tuesday week. So that's that. Are there any disclosures of interest by any members, personal or prejudicial, to members on the agenda? Steve?
A, B, my next door neighbour.
Right, okay, on
8B, sorry.
8A, yeah, 8B, right,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Anybody else, anything?
No.
No, okay, fine, that's that one. Are there any public questions in respect of items on the agenda? That makes a change. I'm disappointing. Right, okay, thanks everybody. Now, the next thing you'll see on there is the minutes of the meeting held on Tuesday, the 27th. Those of you that are here might remember that Pauline said she was going to do the minutes the next day. I've spoken to her just now, and sadly she's not done the minutes, and she said she was leaving it for the next clerk to do. So I'm afraid we don't have any minutes. We're hoping that we can persuade her to pass over all the relevant stuff to us in the next few days, hopefully, or within the next week anyway. If we can persuade her to do that, that would be fantastic, and then we can pick up all the information we need, and then we can start properly. But obviously we're a bit stuck.
Chair, can I make a proposal? As we videoed the last meeting, rather than wait on a promise, and we've had a number of promises, I hate to say this, from the property officer for actions to be taken from the last meeting, which would not be fulfilled. I'm going to propose we take the video from the last meeting and produce our own set of minutes.
Yeah, okay, what do you think? Any objections to that? What do you think?
I can arrange to have that done if you like.
Oh, that's very kind. That's very kind. Everybody else happy with that?
I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands because
First vote.
Sorry.
First vote. I want to see hands.
Please tell me you videoed it.
I think it's 2 cameras, Can you hear me, chaps, incidentally?
Yeah.
Yep, you could.
No, I'm worried in case that, yeah. But somebody, the lovely man who comes to mow the lawns and help me with my garden, my parents' garden, said to me, you're running a meeting tonight, are you? I'm like, yes. And he said, because somebody had already told him that I would be, which was kind of them, and he said, don't forget to speak up. He said, well, you should be all right, he said, because you'll be talking out to the audience, whereas before you were talking across. I said, well, thank you very much, that's kind of you.
Can you just confirm who's going to produce them, please?
Steve's going to do it, yeah. Steve's going to do the meeting, so that's, we'll do that. So thanks very much, Steve, that's kind of you. The next thing is obviously matters arising from the minutes, not otherwise on the agenda, is about the Market Garden site, and has it been surveyed yet by the district council? I'm rather assuming that district councillors are going to tell me that no, it hasn't been.
I've got some information on that from village people today.
Oh, fantastic, thank you.
So it's a long protracted note, but basically saying, dear Lee, anticipating the survey of the Market Garden site being commissioned by Rother District Council on Monday, we submitted the attached to Rother CEO Lorna Ford. You'll see a range of questions which we'd like the surveyor to answer. It's about 3 pages of stuff. And asked her office to clarify the timetable for the site survey, its legitimate status and when we would expect to receive our copy. We also added copies of the main site drawings from the 3 planning applications. And it just mentioned again about this can be brought up in tonight's meeting. So as far as the village people are concerned, that the information has been sent out and it's just a matter of waiting now for the information to come back. So there isn't a date yet set.
Okay, that's lovely, thanks ever so much for that, Leah. It's really kind of you, thanks for letting us know. So to be arranged then, or to be advised rather. Councillors, we need to consider the planning for the gabions on the Market Garden site so we can reply to the District Council about this by the end of September. Do we have any further thoughts? I know we've actually discussed it before a bit, but has anybody got any comments to make?
I have again, I'm afraid.
Okay,
I think with the fencing that's going on at the moment and the general chat around the site, this is only an assumption, but I think they will probably either widen the stream or put the gambions in necessarily because we won't be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And it also then brings in the question of who is actually the owner of the stream, whose responsibility is the stream. If it's the responsibility of the house owners individually, will then they be responsible for the maintenance of the stream? If it's the responsibility of the development and a child falls in the stream because there's no protection, it leads to all sorts of problems. So far as I can see at the moment, when speaking to people around that area, builders, etc., is I think they're going to proceed and get it done anyway.
Right, before they've got permission. Okay.
Hasn't stopped them before,
No.
Right. Okay.
which is a worry.
It's a huge worry, I agree. Councillor Baker's very kindly wrote a proposal or on proposal which I set for
Oh, it's me. No, it's not me, no.
No, it's this phone.
I suppose
It's ringing on.
It's our
Oh,
camera.
apologies, sorry, sorry.
So, Councillor Baker did send out a proposal earlier about the Market Garden action, so I'm just telling everybody that we are aware that the Market Garden site is a huge concern, obviously for people locally to the site itself, but also for the village as a whole, because it's a really bad precedent as to what planners and government can do, and we're obviously very anxious about it. So Stephen Baker, Councillor Baker's done a really good report which we will discuss at a future meeting because we have a little bit of time. Has anybody got any other comments to make about their things, or shall we discuss it at a planning meeting? Councillors?
We have to have our response in by when?
Can I make a suggestion that we ask, is it Anna,
Anna, yep.
along to the next planning meeting, so she can give us an update of what's going on.
Okay.
She can also tell us what she's planning, you know, to move ahead, and what sort of help maybe she might want from Parish Council.
Yeah, okay.
Can I just put a button there? I asked Anne to attend tonight's meeting and she's reluctant to come to the BC meetings.
Yeah.
She just
Okay.
says, I really don't want to go.
She's not very well lady, so
No,
she's
so,
she's not.
So she may well not attend even if we ask.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I did ask her about tonight, but she wasn't able to come.
She said, well, she's not very well, neither are very,
Lee?
yeah,
Sorry, would she be happy to meet a couple of the councillors alone?
Absolutely.
yeah, she
Yeah,
would,
okay.
yeah. So,
Sorry.
can we
Chair,
have,
I think the problem we've got is that we can't actually arrange any meetings
I know,
until the end of the month, and this has to be in by the end of the month.
well, I think we've got a few days, leeway, I think, but we do need to arrange it ASAP, so almost immediately after the meeting. It might be an idea to do it straight after the meeting or the following day.
Not good.
If we can pencil that into our diaries, and if we can discuss with Steph whether there's any space in the village hall that we can discuss that on the following day, which will be the Wednesday. Because I think that will need planning. And with the planning committee, all councillors normally attend that if they wish to, so that will be down for all of us. Although there'll be a chair and a vice chair, there won't be a case of, well, you can come and you can't. We normally all attend that, and we'll all put our pen of thing, and I don't see any reason why that shouldn't continue. So, do you agree on that, council?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have noticed on the
So
wonderful
did you decide on when and where?
Wednesday, the 28th.
Yeah.
There will be whoever the configuration is, there will be a planning meeting to discuss the baby and come to a final resolution that we can then send back to Rother District Council. You will all have received on that very wonderful poster and then pretty pictures of the new councillors of the promises that the council has made. I just hope we can hold them and we don't get stuck. But yes, so you'll notice that there's a lot of things down there, one of which is Market Garden site and planning. And the other one is Dish, because I know there's a big concern about, I'm just diverging here for a minute, is Dish, because I know there's some concern in the village about whether or not Dish will continue. I think I can say with relative certainty that the short conversations we've had, there is absolutely no intention within the new parish council to discontinue Dish in any way. So as far as we're concerned, it will continue. It might change, might go under a slightly different pattern, and its responsibilities might change, but broadly we think Dish is wonderful, and I know lots of people here go to it and like it, so we have no intention of sort of rocking the apple cart any more than has already been rocked. So we're coming back to this Market Garden site. I think we'll discuss that on Wednesday the 28th. Everybody agree?
It's the 25th. It's the 25th, isn't it?
Sorry?
I think it's the 25th Wednesday, because you've got the
Oh, is
next
it
week is
25th?
the
Tuesday, 24th.
So it'll be Wednesday the 25th.
All right, thank you very much. That's grand. Thanks for letting me know that. So,
If you want the Wednesday here, we've only got the afternoon.
okay,
If
fine.
you do it on the Thursday, you've got an evening.
I think we'll probably try and make it late afternoon.
Can it be on the Tuesday?
Just
You
do
can do
it.
it late afternoon only.
An hour?
Which day?
Or
Wednesday the
before.
25th.
What time?
4 o'clock?
4's probably fine.
Yeah, okay. And Don?
Yeah.
Who else? Jeff, can you
That's fine with me.
scribe an hour? Okay, that's lovely, thank you. The rest of us are. Sarah? Yeah? You're right on Wednesday afternoon? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So 4 p.m. on. Thank you for telling us about the date. I was always do these things. Okay, fine. So that's number 6 sorted. The next one's also a slight problem, appointment of an interim clerk. Councillors, do you have any views on the email I sent out earlier?
The only concern would be the distance that the person lives away from the site,
Everyone,
which I
the
think we
one
discussed
that's in
was hour and a half away,
yeah,
which is a consideration.
yeah. Okay.
Because the rate's been sort of more expensive and the mileage been further, so that's more expenses that would appear on the parish, which we try to lose.
If I can fill you in, ladies and gentlemen, on this one, is that when Pauline resigned, there is an association called National Association of Local Councils, and the local regional manager of that did apparently allegedly put out a note from his office to all parish clerks asking if anybody would be prepared or would like to act as a locum for Fairlight in the short term while we do a full advert for it. There is a view that because of the publicity that Fairlight has had in recent times, that we'd have difficulty in getting a parish clerk because of the animosity. I'm rather hoping that the new council will be seen to be somewhat different, and it'll be clear that we are a friendly bunch, and one that our main cause is transparency and openness. So hopefully then that will be a bit more attractive to new clerks. We were told that the only application that came forth from that was one application, which is the one that Councillor Pichard was just talking about, which was a lady who lives over near Tunbridge Wells towards the edge of the county. And looking it up just on Google Maps, it would be an hour and 20 minutes on a good day for her to get here, and she would be charging £35 an hour plus mileage for her travel. So that is a matter of some concern to us as the parish council, that we don't desperately want to have to do that. The other snag is the only time that she would be able to come is the full parish council meetings, which would be quite good because there'd only be that one return journey. But the rest would all be done remotely. Well, we've got a sneaky feeling that we might need some serious help with various things going on, especially seeing as the councillors who were involved and the parish clerk have all resigned within sort of almost immediate effect of each other. So we have a little bit of a hiatus. So that is a bit of a concern that she's also got a clerk. She's a clerk already for another village, and she's also locum clerk for 2 other villages already. So and she's got 3 kids. So there's a bit of a concern as to her time that she can do for us and how much attention she can give us and that. I have spoken to her this afternoon. She sounds lovely, horribly highly intelligent, scary, and very, very just qualified as an auditor. Outstanding chaps, I've just told, which made me swallow twice. So yeah, so she's a very intelligent lady. So she'd obviously be a huge asset, but we have the cost implications and how much can she actually help us. She's not going to be here, etc., etc. So that's something that we're obviously. Jeff, Steve, have you got any comments on that?
Personally, I'd like a decision deferred until our first full meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think I'll be correct in saying we can't appoint until we're appointed
Well,
chair and
exactly,
vice chair.
absolutely.
Anyway.
Just talking to
The only comment I would make is it makes good sense to appoint somebody who could act as the officer.
yeah.
I believe the lady from Westfield wouldn't be acting as an officer, only as a consultant.
Yes, that's another person who lives more locally and is prepared to help us on a consultancy basis, which would obviously she's nearer to us, so that would be a huge advantage. She'd also be charging slightly less by the hour, and she's prepared to act as a consultant, which I think would be jolly handy. But as Councillor Smith's saying, that we do need somebody.
I think we still have to be certain on what our legal status is. Now, the way I read it, as a parish council, not a district council, is that we can appoint an officer,
i.e. from the councillors.
from wherever, an officer to be act as a responsible officer to make us legal.
Okay.
I think we have to decide on if we appoint somebody as a responsible officer, or even possibly this one from Hartfield, we could actually then have that to be legal, but do the majority of the work ourselves between us anyway.
We do need to discuss that, actually, I think, yes, we need to discuss that.
Or there are, of course, other options, which is appointing our own officer.
Yeah. Councillor Smith's absolutely right. We can't do anything at all until we have a proper chair and a vice chair. So we'll have to defer that until the 24th and thereafter really we'll take it up from there. There was a suggestion that we actually write out to other clerks around and see whether or not any of them would like to come forward on the basis that we're such a nice bunch now. So I think we might try and follow that through really. That would seem a sensible thing to do, see if we can get any more volunteers to come through. But I'm afraid we will have to defer that, ladies and gentlemen, until Tuesday week, and then we'll pick it up and run with it from then. But we will do a bit of work in between times.
Yeah, we do have from previous council an agreement 2 meetings ago to actually put out an advert, and that was an agreement made. So although the council personnel have changed, that standing order of making an advert exists. And I don't see any reason why we can't put out an advert broadly for a proper officer.
Yeah, I think that's right, but that's what we're just sort of trying to sort of find out.
But we can't technically make that decision until our next meeting at least.
I'm suggesting we don't need to because it's already been made. To make that advert has already been made. It's already minuted that we made that decision 2 meetings ago that we can put out an advert. You know, who we decide and how we interview and all that can't be decided until later. But the decision to place an advert has already been made, and I would be very keen to follow that through and have an advert go out. Because, you know, you never know who's going to apply.
No, they're even advertising ASAP. It's
Yeah.
important.
I see no reason why we shouldn't put that out. And if we put that through the East Sussex local councils, that will go to Kent, that will go to West Sussex, and certainly those will be a lot closer than anyone we've talked about.
Can I just ask, was a job description and a person specification agreed? Because you would normally send those out with a...
Those things exist. Now, they will be in the file, so they already exist. And it was agreed that they already existed. They were going to be reviewed, but we can actually say right now we have a job description and a person spec and an agreement to do an advert. Now, you know, we're not legal until such times we have a proper officer, and it would be really frustrating if we get towards Christmas and we don't have anybody in it. So I think we've got to spread the net widely. It'd be great to have a short-term locum or a consultant or whatever it decides to be, but I think we've got to act on what is an already agreed minute to have an advert out there.
Well, Councillor Muir has very kindly today given me the previous chair's file, which is this pink thing sitting here. This file thing. Matches my jumper actually. It's quite good, isn't it? So that file there, which apparently has got loads of sort of CVs and illustrations and stuff. So I suggest we can probably go through that, because we can't put out an advert until we've all decided what we want to go in the advert. So that's something we need to do in the next week or two. We are legal as a council because these lovely people have all signed all the documents to say they're legal, so they can't escape. So we are legal as a council in that sort of way. So I suggest that we just get that together and then sort out an advert, and we take it from there. Is everybody agreed with that? Yeah. Okay, thank you. We've now got planning matters. Has anybody had time to look at the planning details for these properties?
Well,
The first one is...
I've tried to go online with Google. I've managed to get one plan for 16 West Lane, but I couldn't see anything at all for Clinton Way.
Oh, right, okay.
There was no record of anything on Robert Clinton.
It is there. This is the before and after of Waits Lane. Has anybody been to look at the property at all?
Yeah, I went past it yesterday.
Yeah, any comments? Does it look all right? Yeah. On Waits Lane?
I haven't got a problem with it.
No, anybody else got a problem with it?
No.
No issues? No issues. Okay, I think, so if we just say the usual thing about dark skies, so we need a comment in there about the fact that there is a Velux in there of some form, or a window that's going up in the centre. So we need a comment on that one, saying that we need blinds or something on it to keep the dark skies at night, if we don't want lights. Prismatic killers if we allow lights to go out everywhere. So we're destroying his astronomy. So yes, so if we can just make a note on that, Stephen, that'd be lovely, and then we'll put that out a report back. That'd be grand. Any other comments, anybody? No? Anybody? Okay, Fursway, anybody got any problems? Not Fursway, sorry, Clinton Way. Anybody got any comments on Clinton?
No.
This is Clinton Way. Sorry. Dominic, there were already planning permission for the property on Clinton, Broadlands Clinton Way, which is going to be demolished because it's an old partly asbestos building, and it's now freestanding. It was one of two, but it's now on its own, and it is just sort of basically a single skin, so, and it's not, and the roof is distinctly dodgy. Anybody who goes up there and looks at it, and you look at the roof, it goes, anyway, so it's a bit scary. So that's going to be demolished, and the original plans have gone through that they could build another property with an upstairs mezzanine and a bedroom upstairs and downstairs, a couple of bedrooms and living quarters. And they've just basically just changed the footprint slightly. But apart from that, looks absolutely fine to me. Has anybody else had any comments? No. It was Steve, you live next door to it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's okay. He's quite a nice bloke, and his plans are quite acceptable.
Right, okay. It's going to be quite an interesting building actually, because it's going to be all black, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yes, outside's going to be all black, so we're quite an interesting building. So I don't think we have any problems on that one as well, but I think there is a relux in that as well, in the mezzanine, so we just need to make a comment on that, please, Steve, on the stuff going out on Clinton Way, please. Any other comments from anybody? No result. Yeah. That means I can just tell everybody that the date of the next meeting, thank you very much for correcting me, is the 24th of Tuesday, the 24th of September at 7 o'clock, unless anything drastic changes, and I can therefore close the meeting. I don't have a gavel, but I use Steve. Is the open forum now? Would anybody like to say anything in the open forum, raise any issues? Councillor.
Do we know yet, or does the council know yet, when a full handover will take place from the previous proper officer?
Good question. Councillor Mayor very kindly asked the proper officer to contact me because she's not contactable by the normal methods, and she's not answering her mail, her council.
Yeah, I noticed that. I had a bounce back as well.
Yeah, or her email, so it's all just bouncing back. She did say that she's prepared to hand it over to the new clerk, which of course is a slight issue at the moment. And I did say, well, that was a bit tricky, really, because we don't have a new clerk. But all the stuff we do need, because we need to make, because I did say we needed to make out the finances, to make sure the finance was running okay, and the accounts, and etc. Pauline said we can't do that because we haven't got a responsible finance officer. So I just said yes, but we do know how to do the accounts. So some of us have run the accounting system, so we understand that. And it was council property, so we'd like it handed over. So she's agreed to hand it over to one councillor. So Councillor Stewart has been volunteered to to the proper officer tomorrow and see whether or not we can have a time when it can be handed over. So that's where we are at the moment. The accounts apparently made up to the end of August, and she's absolutely prepared to do nothing else. So we have a slight impasse. So it's not a very satisfactory answer, but it's not a very satisfactory position either. So
thank you.
Will the accounts include all the redactions?
We don't know until we see them. We don't know. I'm sure once we get a hold of the accounting system ourselves, then we can look at what's been going on and hopefully put matters right. Is the plan. Sorry, Councillor.
I was only going to say, congratulations again. I'm very, very pleased to see elected councillors around the table. I think that's an excellent result. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of Tim and Carl as well. That we Rother councillors, county councillors, are here to help if you need us. Some of you obviously new to it. We're only at the end of a phone or an email or nip round and knock on the door. We'll help you if we can.
That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm sure we all appreciate that. Any other comments from any of the lovely people that have attended? I'd like to be able to say, well, we'll have tea and coffee and drinks, but I'm afraid we can't do that. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. It's been lovely to see you, and we look forward to seeing you on the 24th, where we'll get the whole thing, the whole show on the road properly. And we'd really like to have a proper show. Okay, thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.